This is a story about the El Toro Blanco. It's a bike we did back in 2010. The artwork for the tank, Rick Bonin did for me. We wanted to call it a white bull, but in Spanish it would be El Toro Blanco. And again, we found a Buell X1. I think, again, all I used out of this one was the engine. Had about 9,300 miles on it, really good shape. Then we began to get what we wanted out of it, which was the motor. These motors are just super fast and powerful and really inexpensive. By the time you sell off all the other stuff, you pretty much get a free motor out of it. So then the mock-up begins. This one, we decided to just use 21-inch front and rear wheels. It's a Paco frame. Really, the only thing that we wanted was a 35-degree rake. It's standard. Everything else is standard on it. We used black wheels. I believe they were 60-spoke wheels on it. Again, there's the switch box I was always using on these things, and had a real good welder this time. George Fitzgerald, he's an amazing welder. I'd never forget how well he took care of me on that bike. He's just a good guy. Lives in St. Pete, Clearwater area. And the final assembly came around. The paint job got finished. I don't think the character's on the tank at this point, but the frame was powder coated white, and then we put the spring seat on it again like the Gold bike did, and this time we put a little padding on it. This seat seemed to work better than the other one. I don't know why, but it was a fun bike to ride. Lots and lots of power. Sounded great. We wrapped the headers on this one. I thought it might look more authentic, racy looking on it, and then got it out after it was finished. Got it on the sidewalk and took a few photos of it right off the lift. I don't think I even wiped it down, but there's the artwork that was applied. Again, Norm T did it for me. He's a really good guy. This one turned out really nice. It didn't last all that long. All this stuff went by really quick. I took it over to Daytona to Willie's Tropical Tattoo Show. Didn't win any trophies. Did get some people looking at it. Dave Perwitz and his daughter Jody shook my hand and told me they liked the bike. That was a highlight of the day, actually. And then on the way home, something bad happened. Stopped to get gas, and a strap broke, and the bike flipped over upside down, and we drug it on the ground. Didn't know it was off a trailer. That yellow dust is the yellow street paint. It literally just about destroyed the bike. I was so disappointed. This was a fresh build, and we had a photo shoot scheduled literally 7 days from the day this happened in Fort Lauderdale. It was already arranged for a photo shoot for Easy Riders, already arranged. And I got with Scott, the painter, and jumped on the phone Monday morning, ordered all the parts, took the tank to Scott. He fixed it. I was able to get the bike back ready to go for the show by the end of the week. By that Saturday, it was ready to go. So I didn't let that keep me down. I really begged, borrowed, and pleaded for everything to happen, and it did. I got it back together. If it had been insured, that probably would have totaled it, but it was fine. I didn't let it keep me down. We got it on down to Fort Lauderdale, and he did the photo shoot for me 7 days later, literally. So we were able to spend a couple of days in Fort Lauderdale. He actually shot 2 bikes for me while we were down there. The other one will be coming up in a different video. That's Don Rogers. He's a really nice guy. He's the photographer. We weren't supposed to be taking pictures and videos, but, I did anyway. Sort of sitting over in the corner and shot some pictures. I think Dino was with me in this time down there in Fort Lauderdale. Just had a blast. There's Don and the model and myself. And then these are some examples of the photo shoot. Some of these were in the magazine, some of them weren't. But it actually made the cover of Easy Riders magazine. That's probably one of the biggest things that I've ever happened as far as my career with motorcycles is it literally being on the cover of Easy Rider magazine. It's not an easy thing to do. I don't know if I'm just lucky. I don't know if I know the right people or knew the right people at that time. Digital media wasn't around. There are hardly any magazines now anywhere. Anybody can just post anything anywhere. But this was legit, the real thing, and I was so proud of it. Then we celebrated that for a little while. Then, like all the rest of the bikes, this one got sold. Somebody wanted it worse than I did. And it sold to someone in California. It was a sad day. I really liked this bike a lot. I remember loading it on the truck, big box truck. Sort of stood back and waved goodbye as they drove off like a sad little boy losing his best friend. And then something really interesting happened. After I had already moved to Alabama 2 or 3 years later, I got a phone call from somebody that had just bought this bike and said he thought he had one of my bikes that he had seen in a magazine. Well, the bike had been painted black for some reason. Still don't know why. Somebody painted over this paint job. And the guy literally scraped the top layer of paint off with a razor blade, he told me. You can see here where he scraped it off. And I think he re-cleared it. But he had told me that he saw the bike on the cover of the magazine and he wanted it. He wished he could have it. Well, he bought something that he thought might be it, and then the paint started flaking around the gas cap. He started peeling it off, and boom, he got the bike he wanted. So the story winds up as a happy story. This is the bike in front of his driveway. The frame got changed too. We don't know why, but the frame was changed. But that's the story of El Toro Blanco. I appreciate you watching. My name's Steve Carr, and I'll talk to you later.